we are live.
All right. So the first thing with GitHub that you need to do is basically just set up a repository.
Wait.
Yes.
Hi. Welcome, everybody.
My bad.
I'll edit this stuff out.
Okay.
Well, here, I'll do the introduction. All right. We are fortunate to have Lex here introducing us to Git and GitHub and how it lets us work with version control with Unity. It can work with other game engines or other software products, so it's really cool to learn this process for anybody who's working in computer science, game design, or other technology professions. Lex, thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm here. But this is just going to be basically for Unity and how to set up version control so you can collaborate with other people on your team, because the other alternative is paying. So, okay, but the first step is going to the GitHub website. Basically just go look up GitHub, log in, and then it should be as simple as that. Then what you want to do is go to top repositories. You want to press new, which will open up a create new repository. You want to name this repository, your game name, what you want to name it. I'm just going to name it the game. And description's optional. I would recommend privating it because anyone could commit to it. If like someone found it, they could just commit something random and destroy everything. And one of the most important things.
Would you define what commit means in this reference?
Commit basically means like when you're like done with like whatever you're working on. Let's say you just finished a code, like a script for like movement. If after that you would commit it to the project or the repository, which would make it so it saves onto the repository and everyone else can access it. But the most important thing while setting this up is actually this add git-nor, because if you don't go here and go to Unity, everything will mess up basically, and you need this or else like it will die. And simple as create repository. And for creating it, that's all you need. And then what you want to do after that is download the GitHub desktop, which should just be looking up GitHub desktop and then downloading it. And then once opened, you will log in and you will see this. What you want to do is, since you made a fancy dancy repository on the internet, clone a repository, and then you should see that URL. And what you want to do is simply go here, Command C, Command V, clone it, and then it will clone it very simply. What basically GitHub Desktop does is adds all the files onto your computer directly, because sadly GitHub, the browser, doesn't do that. So once you're here, you should be fine with GitHub Desktop. All you really need to do now is go over to Unity. And on Unity, you don't want to you want to, if you're making it, go to new project, do whatever all templates. All right. Do whatever 2D, 3D game you want. I'm just going to do 2D. Select organization, do yours. Name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it the game. And this is what you need to look at. Location. What you need to do is go to users, documents, GitHub, the game, and then select the folder. This will basically put it linking the project to the GitHub, so you can basically, commit things into it so you can share it. And it's simple as creating the project of that. Except for, it's not. Because after this is done downloading, we have one more step to do. It's going to take a second to load.
Sure. While this is loading, the name of your organization, so you had the awesome something, whatever. You could have numerous organizations, for instance.
Yeah, numerous. It's basically just a shit oh, this is you, so you're gonna put it onto your organization. It's just something to keep track of everything.
And so, for instance, if you're working on stuff for school, you might have an organization for school stuff. If you're doing personal things, you have one for that, or whatnot.
Me personally, I just have one because I'm lazy.
Hey, that's fine. No, I think for most people, just creating one will be fine. Now, if you're inviting other people to work in the project, then they'll be a part of your organization.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So somebody on the team needs to take the lead, set up an organization for themselves. Then they will be the lead on the project, set this up, and then invite other people into it.
I think, I'm not completely sure because I set mine up a long time ago. I think it already comes like if you make your account, you will have your own organization.
Right.
So you can simply just, like if you're in it, will already be there, and then you just invite people, and then
Right, and we're going to go through the invitation piece today as well.
yeah.
Okay.
So you're in Unity, and so you have it open. But if we go over to the GitHub, which it'll change in a second because it's still compiling the scripts. But after it finishes that, look at this: 21,000 changes. That's not good. You don't want that. We want at most like 30. So what you want to do is go to Finder, and can you leave? Thank you. What you want to do is go to Finder, go to Documents, GitHub, the game, and then what I already done this, but these are hidden files. So what you need to do is do Command-Shift period, and it will show them to you. And this thing called the gitnor, you just want to move that over into the game file. And then, after that is done, it should change to 32 files. And then all you gotta do is to push something out on GitHub, make a summary. So I'm just gonna hit first change, and then press commit to main, which will put it into the repository. Well, set it up, and then you just have to press this little button. It's called push origin, and then it's in the repository. You've done it. And then to check if someone else pushes something, you just press fetch origin, and then if there's nothing, then no one's pushed anything. If there is something, it will say fetch origin, or not fetch origin, it would say pull origin. And you just press that, and it will pull directly onto your computer.
And that's where, so the pull would come, so if somebody else on your team has done stuff and they've committed it, then you would be pulling that.
You would pull it, and it'll be on your computer. To add people to a GitHub is pretty simple. It's much easier than setting one up. Basically, just go back to your GitHub website, settings, collaborators, and then you just add their email, which I don't have anybody, but
sure.
If you add it. And then once that, they just have to accept the invite, which will go directly to their email, and then they're in. So then they do the same thing, clone the repository, they will see this, and instead of, you're right, wrong thing. Instead of going to the new project, they want to press add, and then add from disk, which will make it so they're in their documents, go to GitHub, the game again, and then add project. This might mess up because this is already have it on here, but basically that's how you do it, and then you're in. There is a small thing though that I will say with this. Once you log in, if you for the first time, you will not see a single thing. And it's pretty simple because you're in the Unity project, but you're not on a specific scene. So what you want to do is simply just go to scenes folder, double click sample scene, and then you're there. That is the main problems I've seen people struggle with, and I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lex, for this tutorial, and there's a lot of good stuff in here. And so remember, look at the links below that have timestamps back into the sections here to get you back to those particular areas, because this is complex, and you may need to go back to a specific area and help each other out, because it's not easy. But once you get the flow of it and you're doing it regularly, then it starts to make more sense.
Yeah.
But thanks, Lex.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
All right, now I'll hit stop.